Hey Fast Life community, this is Leonardo Oliveira and I'm super excited to do this video with you guys. I've been promising it. I get a lot of messages and phone calls from friends and especially my fellow National Guardsmen here that are struggling with their weight. They want to find out how I lost so much weight so fast and when I tell them how I did it, everyone thinks I'm crazy. But they still try it and then they say it's too hard. So I wanted to give people some pointers. It's not about being hard, it's about growing, and I wanted to just share with you all my approach to prolonged fasting and what it means to me in my life. So I wrote down a few things and I'll actually post some of these together with this video so that you can follow up on them. But I just wanted to make a quick disclaimer. I am not a health professional. I am not a nutritionist. I am not in any way certified to teach any of these principles. These are just elements of my personal life that I wanted to pass on. And for those that are always asking me, I figured I'd do a video so I don't repeat myself so much. But if you do have any type of pre-existing health conditions, I highly recommend you talk to your doctor, have a conversation with them. But more importantly, get informed, learn about prolonged fasting. There's so much information out there. The Fast Life community on Facebook, we have, I love this community that Dave Kent and I started, and everyone has just been embracing it and sharing their experiences, and it's been really cool. So I recommend you scroll through that to learn, or just go on YouTube, go on Google. There are plenty of videos and documentaries, blogs about this type of way of going about how you decide to eat. But I wanted to say that before I did my 22-day fast, which was how I actually got into this, I had no experience with fasting. I really hated fasting actually, and I used to think it was a pretty boy thing to do right before you go on your cruise, and I'm giving Dave Ken a hard time for that, but in reality, it's become much more. So I hope you remove the word diet out of prolonged fasting as I say this out of your mind. For me, prolonged fasting is not a diet. I haven't really done it for the sense of wanting to lose weight. It's become much more of a body, spirit, and just a mind type experience for me. And one of the things I've come out of appreciating most is this sense of self-control. And I feel like currently in our society, we're so lost with that. We get hungry, we just go through a drive-through, or it's late night and we just go in for a snack. And this self-control transfers over to finances, it transfers over to your behavior with your relationships. And so for me, this was a huge impact in my life because it helped me regain that sense of self-control. And I've seen how it's transferred over into other areas, not just in food. But like I said, my initial views on fasting, I used to think it was a pretty boy thing. It's changed my life now. And honestly, I feel like a pretty boy now that I fast. But it's definitely been a transition, and I can't wait to tell you about this. So what do I experience when I fast? I really look for introspection and I look for healing. I've struggled with PTSD for quite some time. And let me tell you, fasting has been such an amazing experience. I would almost even compare it to some plant-based medicine that gives you that level of introspection. It puts you through that type of journey, that struggle, and then that mind clarity. And I've experienced that with fasting as well. A few things that during my 22-day fast that I experienced were like around day 8, I experienced the man in the mirror type relationship where I started questioning, if I died today, could I say that I lived a great life? Could I say that I did everything that I needed, or did I give my forgiveness that was needed, or did I receive forgiveness as well? All those little questions come to mind with the man in the mirror. A big thing that happened to me too was just this huge sense of gratitude and followed by so much humility. I remember just driving down here in Cottonwood Heights, and I noticed it came to my mind a few of these experiences that I had in the past with my spouse, with my kids, with friends. and I would all of a sudden become extremely nostalgic, and that nostalgia would transfer into gratitude, and then you get very emotional. And so it's a very humbling experience where you come to realize how wonderful of moments you've had throughout your life, and you start appreciating the little things, and you start hoping for those little things more as you move forward. um, a big element of fasting as well that I experienced was a huge sense of self-compassion and forgiveness. And I think we all need a little self-compassion in us. We're in a culture, in a world that expects us to be perfect. We're in a world where we consistently feel like we fall short. And all those things are lies. All those things are us allowing others to measure us by their standards and expectation. So I really invite you all, as you go through this process, to look for those feelings of introspection that bring self-compassion, and look for opportunities to forgive you, because at the end of the day, we're all human. This is a really hard life, and there's no need for us to hold ourselves back from things we can't control anymore in the past. I'm so excited for what's in the future, but more importantly, I'm excited for what we're doing right now. And that's the sense of mentality that this fasting brought to me. And I associate it a lot with the power of now. Another great thing that I experienced was a lot of self-love, believing in myself, and tons of confidence. Just to share a little story, I've been wanting to run, silly, but I've been wanting to run without a shirt for like 7 years. But I gained so much weight, and just trying to deal with injuries and mental health. And, I was always self-conscious of myself. I didn't feel confident. And I remember after I fasted for 22 days, I lost 40 pounds. And I remember it was nice. We were down in St. George, my family and I, and the family went to a skate park that was 3 miles away, and they took the car. I wanted to get caught up with them, and I thought I could run. And halfway through the run, I realized, wow, you can do this. It started getting, painful. I remember taking off my shirt, and I just felt like I could finish this run. And behind all that, I thought to myself, dude, you didn't eat for 22 days. You don't think you can run with a little bit of pain for 3 miles? And so it just helped me push and drive into other areas of my life that I've been wanting to accomplish so bad. And so this was a tiny example, but yet a really big one for me. It was a big sense of fulfillment, and it brought a lot of confidence as well, and a belief that I can accomplish hard things. And that's what the fast is. This is not an easy task. This is not going to be your cute little diets that you plan your meals. This is going to play with your mind, and it's meant to be hard. But I want to tell you, do something hard in your life so you can feel proud of it. Keep finding those challenges, and don't stay stagnant. It's a great way to get out of your comfort zone. As far as mental health goes, one of the big things I noticed as I was going through my fast is that my anxiety reduced. And part of that, I think, is because I wasn't drinking coffee. I wasn't using sugar anymore. And just all these different elements that usually cause anxiety were gone, and it reduced. And I was in a state of just perfect, peaceful nirvana. And the nirvana experience actually lasted from 8 to about day 16, where you're just going through this introspection and this personal finding and search and growth. And anyway, beautiful experience. And along with that, I gained the confidence that I mentioned earlier. And from a physical perspective, chronic neck pain that I have from bulged discs, the chronic headaches, knee pain that I have from a knee ACL reconstruction, all those things disappeared, and I was able to engage in exercising later on. But that is one of the powerful things of fasting, is that it definitely cuts down on your inflammation. And the biggest, obviously, is the weight loss. You'll probably end up losing, once you are in ketosis, and I'll explain that in a second, but once you go into ketosis after your 3rd day, you'll be losing about 1.5 to 3 pounds a day. In my case, it was kind of ridiculous the amount of weight I lost. I didn't go in even thinking I was going to lose weight, but it wasn't in my mind at the time when I did the 22 days. I'll explain it here in a second, but tons of weight loss. And obviously, the less amount of weight, less pressure on your joints. You feel healthier, you feel more flexible, and it's just a great experience overall. sorry, going through my little list here, but I wanted to make sure I got it all. These are things that I share with my friends and people that DM me on Facebook wanting to know more about these fasting experiences. But let's talk a little bit about the fast, and I want to share with you all ways that you can prepare and go through the experience, right? So that you find it successful, you gain what you were looking for. And speaking of gaining what you're looking for, that's really my first principle, is that when you do something like this is really hard. When you think about it, it's at the very base of the hierarchy of needs. And so you're, shelter, food, water, these basic needs, and you're removing food all of a sudden. That's a big deal. And it's going to make things shift around, and it's going to get hard. Let me tell you, the first 3 days are going to suck. It's hard. It's really hard. It's going to be your biggest hell, but you're going through a lot of detoxing. You're getting rid of sugars in your body. Your body's used to sugar, and all of a sudden you stop putting sugar in. It's going to crave it. If you decide you want to quit caffeine during this time, you don't have to. A little cup of coffee with just black coffee in the morning is fine to give you a boost. But from my perspective, it's fine. There's purists out there that stick just to water, but I found that for us that need to engage in work and things, it's okay. But the first 3 days are going to be hard. You're going to have headaches, which I highly recommend you keep some Himalayan salt, pink salt around. A little bit on the tongue helps with that headache. Or you can also keep some type of electrolyte that I'll mention here in a second as well. And those things will help with the headaches. This is a great opportunity throughout those 3 days for you to be excited, because there will be no more sugar in your body, external sugars at least, and you will be welcoming the process of ketosis, which is transforming fat inside of your body into energy. And that's when life gets super exciting. So when people say to me, I'm thinking of doing a 3-day, I'm thinking, oh, you're thinking of sucking for 3 days with no reward, so try to always focus on, I'm going to go for a 5-day or a 7-day or 11-day, but just 3 days, you're just detoxing, and you're not really experiencing some of that mind clarity and spirituality and mental growth that comes. But if you want to do a 3-day, go ahead. I'm not telling you not to. It's just, that's the part that sucks. So let me tell you something. When I did my 22-day fast, okay, and I remember going through my first 3 days then, and it was not nearly as hard as my first 3 days with my more recent fast that I did. My goal was to do it for 7 days. I ended up having to stop at 5. And I'll explain that in a second, but the difference was that I was exercising, intense exercises versus just a 30-minute walk during the day. But another really cool, exciting thing about fasting, for those that get grossed out, but you won't be pooping anymore after day 3. So you'll be cleansing. After day 5, you probably won't have bowel movements anymore, and you just really, it's a great feeling to not have to get rid of waste and just go on about your day without that concern. So let's talk about developing a game plan, because when you go into these fasts, you want to have some level of game plan so that you're not playing catch up on certain elements of it. So one of the things I always recommend is that you understand what the week that you're going to fast for looks like. Is it going to be a week where you're going to be traveling? Is it a week where you're mostly going to be home? What are the challenges of that week? If you can foresee them, those are all good things, because you want to limit in some ways the level of stress so you can appreciate more of the experience. So once you define what that week looks like, start looking at supplements. Some of the supplements that some people have suggested on our Facebook page, and I just wanted to give a huge shout out to Todd Malcolm. He posted some very interesting products there. I recommend you all look into this. It's on the Fast Life. I made these purchases myself recently, and I'll post the Amazon links down below. I'm not promoting these products, just recommending them to you all so that you don't suck like I did during my 5-day fast. But some of these products are Keto Chow, Chloroxygen, Oxygen Extreme, Nun Hydration, and Elite Electrolytes. All these have minerals and just the different types of supplements that you need to maintain that homeostasis within your body and still stay within ketosis. The main thing is you don't want to get off of that, especially if you're trying to lose weight, if that's your goal. You want to make sure that you're staying in ketosis. Now, people ask me, when is the best time to do my fast? Well, honestly, there is no best time. It's just about doing it. The more you plan it, the less you do it, okay? My 22-day fast, I was here with my friend Dave Kent, and he's big into this type of fasting, and I wanted to do something meaningful. I wanted to make an impact in the veteran community. And so I looked at Dave and I said, hey, Dave, what if I did a 22-day fast? And he looked at me and was like, 22 days, Leo? That's crazy. Gandhi did 20 days, right? And I told him, well, there's 22 veterans out there that commit suicide every day. And I think this would make an impact. It would make a difference. It would raise awareness to PTSD and suicide prevention. And so, you know, I didn't even think about it. I didn't know what I was getting into. Dave said, are you sure? And I said, fuck it. I'm just going to do it. And a week later, we started it. And with no preparation, we just went about it. I bought the keto chow, I remember. But besides that, it was straight up H2O and keto chow 4 times in the full 22 days. But that's my advice to you. When do you want to start? Just do it. You know, figure out that week what it looks like and go for it. Don't think much of it. Don't try to plan it ahead. It's just a matter of getting into it and going for it. Once you hit that 4th day, 5th day, you have that mind clarity, and it makes you want to even keep going. I mean, my mom, she's 60 years old. She got excited about this. She committed to doing 5 days. Well, she didn't commit, but she just told me she wanted to do 5 days. When she got to day 5, she felt so good, she went for 2 more days. And so same thing happened with a few other friends as well in this community. So keep your an open mind to what you could potentially do. Awesome. Let me keep moving down here the list. Have a strategy. The first 3 days, like I said, are going to be very tough, but you got to hang on to your why. As I mentioned earlier, find something that is greater than yourself. In my case, for the 22 days, I wanted to do something for veterans. Deep down inside, my personal agenda was that this was a way of me standing above my own traumas, my own past, my own old stories that just kept coming up. And so it was much bigger what I was trying to accomplish. It was like conquering a hill or fighting the British Army with William Wallace or something like that. I've used that example before, but it was like conquering that army, and it was so transcending for me. And so make sure you have that why. I wasn't going to fail the 22 veterans, and so I just stuck with it even though things got hard. Next to that, develop a support system, something that will hold you accountable, or someone that can just give you some motivation when things are hard. In my case, my buddy Dave Kent was there for me for 22 days, and it was amazing because once we got to the other side, the results were still reaping the benefits of this. But definitely have someone that you can call when things are tough. I'd love for you to share your goals in our community, what you're trying to accomplish, why. You know, let us know too in the fast life, and let us support you and give you some good motivation there as well. Now, here's a good question for you. What will you do when things get hard, right? Because you're going to be at family dinners, you're going to be at business lunches, you're going to be at social gatherings. All these things are inevitable for our day-to-day. So you have to come up with a plan. For me, I've cooked meals for my kids during the 22 days. That was hard, but after I think day 16, day 14, it was easy. But you know, try to avoid those situations so that you're not just putting yourself in front of something that will become challenging for you. You know, don't go drive by the donut shop or the whatever you do. You know, try to stay away from those just for that week and keep yourself safe from that. But do know that things will get hard because of that, so avoid it if you can. Now, exercising during prolonged fast, you know, when you are in ketosis, you burn a lot more calories than when you're not. I advise people working out. I think it's great. During my 22 days, I walked for 30 minutes, and that was positive. It wasn't tiring. I recommend you do that. If you do go work out, that you do it before the sun comes out or when it's about to come out, because it's really hot out there. And that can really put you in a deficit of your electrolytes. You know, for those that do want to have more intense of a workout, as I mentioned, you want to stay ahead of your electrolytes, not behind. part of my attempt to do a 7-day fast, it got shortened because I did some intense workouts and I was drinking my electrolytes after practice, but I needed to be drinking that way before so that I would retain the water I needed for the practice. And so it put me in some terrible states of mind. I was hangry a lot, and there's nothing like being hangry. You know, I was at the verge of flipping people off while driving, and I never do that. I don't even touch my horn for the most. So definitely keep your electrolytes ahead of you, not trying to catch up at all times. And I'll post here in a minute the different products that were recommended in our group, and just do your research, find out what works for you, and give it a shot. Let's see here. Hydrate, right? People ask me, so what did you drink or what did you do during the fast? You know, what's your secret? And my secret is this. It's basically water. You got to keep water all over. I keep a bottle in here at all times. Keep water in different places. You never want to be without water. You're driving down to a meeting, make sure there's at least you have like a pack of water in your car. Keep it handy, because the last thing you want is to feel thirsty during a fast. It makes you feel desperate. You can go hangry. So you feel that little stomach knot, just immediately hydrate, think of your why, and then move on. But again, H2O, 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 and listen to your body. When you're thirsty, drink. There's no set rule, I think, for me at least, throughout this process of I need to hit this number of ounces or liters of water that I need every day. I just drank as I felt thirsty and as I needed it. But just to pull from the Institute of Medicine, I pulled this up. They recommend that men drink at least 101 ounces of water per day, which is a little under 13 cups. And they say women should drink at least 74 ounces, which is a little over 9 cups. I don't think this is enough. I was drinking at least 120 to 160 ounces a day, and then several cups throughout. I had a bottle that was 40 ounces, and that's how I measured. So, but that's a base just from the Institute of Medicine, if you were wondering. But like I said, just listen to your body and drink water. That's the secret. It's drinking water. I kid you not. Now for those that are really interested in the spiritual side of things and the thoughts that you'll get, man, even like I even started a business out of this fast. Some ideas that I had with some of my business partners. But journal your thoughts. Keep a little notebook handy, or your phone, however you like to journal. But keep it close, because you will have amazing introspections and epiphanies, and beyond that, you're going to enjoy human connection to its fullest. One of the experiences that I felt is that I no longer was experiencing empathy for people. I understood very clearly how they felt when they were stressed or panicky. But above all, I just felt a lot of compassion for them. And so I made sure to journal that, and how I was perceiving my human connections moving forward. One thing I noticed is that when you connect with people of high vibrations, of high energy, that feeds you as well, and somehow it would make me not even think of food. So definitely don't avoid human connection. You'll have some bad breath, so your human connection might avoid you. So try to keep some sugar-free gum around, or something that is sugar-free, that you know, whatever you use to keep that breath under control. It's normal, it's natural, it's part of ketosis. You might have a little bit of I think it's a metallic flavor to your mouth. That's all normal. You know, there were nights during my 22 days I thought I might not wake up the next day, just because it seems so humanly weird to not eat. But if you think about it, people in the 1800s, 1700s, you know, before our time where we can just go to Walmart and get food, these people were going several weeks without eating often, and they would be, you know, imagine just here in this state of Utah, the pioneers that came here, you know, and these individuals weren't eating every day. And so it's okay to not eat. So don't be scared. You're not going to die. I survived 22 days, and it's very possible to do. It's mostly in the mind. Now, people have asked me, so Leo, what was the hardest of all the days that you had? You know, what would you say was the number one day that was hard? And I'm going to have to say that it was day 23, 24, and 25. The 3 days after my fast. Breaking the fast is extremely difficult. and you got to be very careful. It can hurt you. It can cause pain. It can give you a very upset stomach. You got to think, you haven't pooped for so long. Your guts are dormant. Your bacteria, the good and the bad, is all gone. So you need to start building up all this new stuff inside of your digestive system. And so the way I break my fast is that I'll drink bone broth for the first day. Okay. And the bone broth has collagen, and it's going to give you some of the bacteria that you need in your gut. I also recommend a probiotic. If you can buy the live type probiotics, that's always better. Eventually I transitioned to like almond or plant-based yogurt as well that had high probiotics, and that was very helpful as well. And then for day 2, I start going into my vegetable broth or vegetable soups. I try to blend the soup and I eat that as well, but I still haven't introduced any solids. It's not until day 3 that finally we get to enjoy some steamed vegetables, some brown rice, legumes like beans. I enjoyed beans so much. That's actually the only thing I wanted to eat throughout the 22 days was rice and beans. It's kind of like you go back to your roots. But brown rice and other legumes would be perfect. You can cook those legumes, however you like, and they're always delicious. And then moving on from there, you can choose whatever you want. Just go slow. Your stomach is so small. Try to eat small portions, throughout the day. Maybe I'm not going to say how many hours you should eat it, but just whenever you're hungry, just slowly start to build up that need. But don't forget one thing, and that's something that I failed of coming off of day 22, is that I wasn't drinking water anymore. So keep loving water and keep making it part of your day to day. I highly suggest you don't go back to sodas. Don't go back to these juices that are that have high fructose corn syrup or that have tons of sugar in them. Keep doing your water, and for me, I decided to stay vegetarian, and I did stay vegetarian up until recently when I introduced fish into my diet. It's hard. People try to feed you, or finding a meal that doesn't have meat is difficult as well, but learn how to eat healthy with vegetables, and if you choose to become vegetarian for a while, it's not a bad thing. But more importantly, as you break your fast, I want to recommend everybody to journal everything that you're eating. I learned that milk just destroys my stomach. Anything that has dairy will make my gut look bigger, right? It kind of inflates it. It swells. I learned that beef is just a terrible idea for me, so I try to stay away from it now as well. So, just start taking notes and understand who you are. This is such an amazing starting point for you to figure out how you work from inside out, and you'll learn that both mentally, physically, and spiritually. I think that's mostly all I usually share with people, and I just wanted to get this out there for you all. I don't want to take up much more of your time, but I hope you enjoyed some of these pointers. Like I said, I'm not a professional. I'm not in any way a certified health coach or anything like that. This is just my experience, the things that I do. But like I said, this for me is not something that I just do on a scheduled basis. I wait for it to call me. And it's just an amazing experience of spiritual healing, mental healing, and physical healing that I highly recommend. And just know that I'm here in your corner. I love the community that we got, and let's keep building this and keep fasting and set some strong goals for us as a community. Something coming up that Dave and I want to talk about is that we all fast for the first 12 days of the year, so that we fast one day for each month that we are about to go through, and set some very strong intentions for ourselves. And let's make this an energizing experience. We'll talk more about it in the future, but for now, it's great being here with you all, and I just wanted to wish you all the best, sending you all good vibes, and best of luck, and stay hydrated, please.